Hey, how are you? Nemo Ashong here, founder of Empjoyment. I want to just talk to you really quickly a little bit about possibility, inclusion, and authenticity. These are the three major pillars of Empjoyment, and part of what leads to the pioneers, P-I-A-neers, right? Actually, to tell you the truth, there are 7 or 8 different pillars altogether. Possibility, inclusion, authenticity, innovation, experience, empowerment, resourcefulness, and strengths, right? That's really what makes pioneers. And I'm going to focus on the first 3 because those are the 3 that anchor everything. Possibility, inclusion, and authenticity. And we talk about this here because when I really look at what enjoyment, we empower joy. And when I ask myself, what is it that actually leads to that? And for me, what I found is that it really comes down to the aspect of, do you have a possibility worth pursuing, a possibility worth creating? Do you feel that there are options for you in your world? Do you even know what options are out there for you, right? You've probably got a chance to experience this and see part of my story, but like there's so many times, like right now you're seeing me in Singapore. I'm not supposed to be here, and yet I am. So what comes of that there is this idea that like we oftentimes have a plan or have a path or feel lost because we're not sure what the next step is or what the next thing is that we're supposed to do. And what comes of it all here is just the realization that like there's so much more possible for us than we might even know, than we might even allow ourselves to step into. I'm making this video right now, but I'll tell you, yesterday I did not feel like I was allowed to just make a video and share this with you. I tried for hours to write this all out onto a website, and it just wasn't the way that I communicate. So being able to and then I talked to someone, I had an interesting coaching session, and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be possible to just make a video of it? I was like, not only is it possible, but I'm doing it tomorrow as soon as I can, right? So this idea of possibility is one of the most empowering things that are out there. And yes, we make the time to make sure we balance it and we find we help people pursue possibilities worth creating, because it can also be, in excess, it can end up being something that holds people back because it's like, well, what should I do? There's so many options. So we talk about possibility and we make sure that you know that there are options for you. We help you see things that you can't see on your own. And that's a wonderful place to be. I'm going to jump next to authenticity. And the authenticity part here is a big part of the empowerment, because if you can just be you, then no matter what the world throws at you, no matter what life throws at you, no matter what your job throws at you, you will feel like, okay, I know what's important to me. I know my strengths. I know how to navigate this without having to come from a place of fear or a place of scarcity. Instead, you're able to come from a place of abundance, because guess what? There are 7 billion people in this world. That's an awesome number. And there's only one of you. There's only one of you. And so just by being more of yourself, you're able to differentiate yourself and be able to add value in a way that only you can. And from that perspective, that leads to just a tremendous amount of empowerment. I'll go back again to this video. I'll go back to the conversation that I'm having with you. Like, this is me. This is Nemo. Hello, how are you? And that's what we bring out there. We look for people to come out and be authentic. And look, I get it. I talk to a number of different people. I coach people for hours on this here to try and understand what is authenticity to them. There's a reason why I say be more you and not be you, because be you, sheesh, that's hard. That's really hard to really be there. But to be more of yourself each and every day, and every time that you show up in the world, like that there is something that is possible. That is something that we can do, that we can work toward. And I'll give you one of my biggest secrets right here. I work with a lot of people when we coach on a compass. And part there is like, we have a general roadmap, but we set a compass to say, how do you know when life throws whatever it throws at you and you hit a new crossroad, how do you know what direction to take? And that compass comes down to you. What are your values? What are your strengths? And we help people go ahead and figure all that out so that they can show up authentically. And so that when life throws anything at them, let's say that the industry that they were in completely goes away overnight. And that's not unreasonable in this consistently changing time that we're in right now. From a global perspective, from a technology perspective, like there's a lot that can change with us literally overnight. Well, not literally. I use literally in like the more like figurative way in that case. But change is happening, and it's happening at a rapidly accelerated pace. And the thing that I have found to have made all that change navigable is to just be more of yourself, to come from your places of strength, to come from your gifts and talents, and to embrace them and leverage them to help you go into your next future, into what you want to create. So we talk about authenticity. We also talk about inclusion. And I left inclusion here toward the end because it's the glue that brings all of this together. You see, what I found is that if people come out and they're their authentic self, but they don't feel included in there, then they don't have an opportunity, or that authenticity gets either shunned down, or pushed out. And where we sit here is that inclusion has to be a part of everything we do. And when I look at inclusion, we don't look at it from race, gender, sexual orientation. That's not where we're coming from. That to me lines up a lot more with diversity. From an inclusion, in my perspective, has to be something where at the end of the day, all the 7 billion people in this world could feel included. Right? Like that's the depth in which we have been exploring inclusion. And what comes up for us here is that inclusion occurs when people's differences are not just tolerated, but they're celebrated and valued. We want you to bring your differences up to the table. We want to understand what makes you you. We want you to show up authentically so that we can go ahead and really create something new. I talk innovation is one of the 8 pillars of the pioneers. And like I have a fundamental belief that innovation cannot occur without inclusion, because you need to be able to be in a room and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing X. And someone's like, well, I was thinking about doing Y, and I can see how X and Y will come together. And so the third person will be like, whoa, I didn't have this before. All I had was Z, but now I see how if we combine X and Y and tweak it with a little bit of Z, we can end up with X, Y, Z, which didn't occur before. That there is inclusion for me. And there'll be talks, and you'll see there are other videos I have around inclusion and some of the other aspects of how we break that down and how we work on that here at Empjoyment. But when I talk about possibility, authenticity, and inclusion, those are the 3. When I talk about those 3 things, it all comes down to, can you be yourself to explore and pursue the possibilities worth created in your world? And can you feel included in doing it? And it's interesting here because what I've also found, I'll give you another secret here, is that one of the things that causes inclusion is showing up as yourself. There are times that I've stumbled all over this video. I'm even talking about the video right now. But I know that for pioneers out there, for the people who really resonate, for the people who really believe in showing up as themselves and being seen for who they are, as scary as that might be, and as empowering as that is, none of this will matter for them. So I'm modeling it right here in this interaction that we're having right now. It doesn't matter when you watch this video, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you are seeing me showing up as I truly am. And I want to invite you to do that with us here at Empjoyment. So that's why we focus on possibility, inclusion, and authenticity. It's something that powers joy, and it's something that really allows us to reach our ultimate mission of bringing together a truly inclusive and empowered world. I cannot wait to explore all the possibilities of bringing this to life with you. And I am excited to move forward on this journey. If you haven't yet, check out one of our upcoming events.